Well, they should never put his name on the news. I don't think so. That's ridiculous. Sometimes he's a hard case, but you know what? He looks after everybody.
The gun, I don't know if the gun works. I suppose it does.
The giant Sicilian is a 54-inch by 54-inch pizza and is cut up into 200 pieces.
What I seen was a moose standing over top of her. And then I yelled at it a couple times and it just pinned its ears back and faced me. So my first instinct that I didn't think too well on, I walked out and punched it right in the face.
You are listening to Keep Canada Weird.
Handsome Aaron Airport. We're here for episode 201 of Keep Canada Weird. Things are different now. We raised the bar after 200. Everything before this episode has just been a practice. This is a professional production and we got to do it right. We're going to find the greatest, most unique and offbeat Canadian news stories and we're going to talk about them. But before we do that, let's check in with you. Are you doing okay over there, buddy?
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Are you watching the Olympics?
No.
You're nothing to do with them?
I prefer my professional sports to be fake and predetermined. So that's why I only watch professional wrestling.
The actual pros. Okay, I'm into the Olympics. The Olympic hockey is really exciting for me. Right now, the female hockey is happening, which is great. Male hockey will be coming soon. I'm excited about that. And there is a Keep Canada Weird story kind of tucked in the Olympics. Are you aware of what's being referred to as Penisgate? Do you know anything about this?
I do. I usually keep pretty up to date on anything penis related in the news. So that certainly did cross my desk. And yeah, I'd be happy to talk about it tonight with you.
Let's just talk about it right now. Penisgate is quite the controversy. It involves allegations that some people may be taking extreme measures to make their private parts longer and bigger. But why would they do that, Aaron? How would that help them in ski jumping? Can you explain it to the good people out there?
Okay, I'll try to craft an explanation here. They want their penis to be bigger when they're getting measured for their suits that they wear. And so it's injected with this chemical that will make your penis larger, not forever, but just for a bit, so that when you're getting measured for your suit, more material is going to be present in your genital area. And apparently, the more material that you have on your body, the further you're able to soar in these jumps. Yeah. So.
Anyway, that's the main thing I wanted to bring up about the Olympics. Other than liking Olympic hockey, I do like that people are cheating by injecting weird stuff into their junk. But let's move on.
Yeah.
Because the Olympics are happening in Italy. That's not necessarily a Canadian story. We're going to stick a little closer to home. But before we get into tonight's stories, we have something we do every week. And we're not going to skip episode 201. We're going to unveil our special drinks. And I have an extra special drink, but I don't want to steal the spotlight. Do you want to go first tonight?
I'll go first because I'm back to an old faithful tonight. Oh. Yeah, and it's been a while since I've had it on the show, but I'm bringing it back. It's because I've been on the tea wagon lately, as you know, and you've commented on, and that's bothered me, but that's okay. I'm going to let it slide. I have a 0 sugar, 0 caffeine Coca-Cola.
What's more exciting than tea? 0 sugar, 0 caffeine Coke.
Yeah, that's right.
As long as it makes you happy, enjoy it. Take a big swig,
Here
buddy.
we go.
And I want to tell you about mine. You don't even need to tell us how it is. We know how it is.
Oh, it's so good.
I have something special here. I don't know if you've ever heard of Prescott Group. They're a Halifax-based community that supports people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to build friendships, learn skills, and take part in meaningful work and community life. And they do it in a variety of ways. One of the ways they've done it is they partnered with a brewery in Halifax called Two Crows to make these, I don't know what you would call it. I'm just going to read you the title. Belonging, peach tea and pomelo sparkling water.
Wow.
They sent us a whole bunch of them. So let's see how it is. Oh, I splashed it on my mic. I'm already not liking it. It's actually really good.
Oh, wow. It had a bit of an after kick there where that really knocked you over.
It was just a little watery at first, but then when it hit me, that aftertaste, it's full and delicious and for a very good cause. They were kind enough. Charlene there was kind enough to send us a few. A couple of them have alcohol in them. I'm not going to sample those. I'll save them for next time you're in Halifax.
Yeah, and then I'll get them off you. I'll bring them home with me, and I will be able to enjoy one as my special drink for that recording.
It's going to be an elaborate scheme, but I think it's going to work. We got a lot of stories to get into tonight, but let's not move away from special drinks just yet. On episode 200, we explained that we're going to turn over a new leaf and invite correspondents of Keep Canada Weird from the world over to share with us their special drinks and take part in this, I guess we can call it a ritual now. To mark our 201st episode, let's hear from Wendy. Let's welcome Wendy from the United States, who wants to have a special drink with us.
Hi, Jordan and Aaron. This is Wendy. I'm one of your U.S. correspondents. I live in North Carolina, and I found myself a raspberry Cove soda for my special drink. So I'm going to open it now. Delicious. I will definitely be getting some more of those.
I like that. And that's an American getting Cove soda, which is brewed in Halifax. So much like how this podcast is brewed in Halifax and sent the world over, so is Cove soda. And we've made it.
Yeah. Well, and still unanswered messages to Cove Soda. They have not responded to any of our hollerings that we've been doing towards them.
And it's not just us anymore.
And even some listeners, some listeners have sent messages to Cove Soda and still unanswered. So this is becoming extremely personal. And I'm worried because I enjoy Cove Soda, but I have no problems. Just like they have zero sugar, I have zero problems turning my back on Cove Soda if they don't step up.
Okay.
So if Cove Soda doesn't do what's right here and at least acknowledge us and all the work we've been doing here for them, then I we've done boycotts on the show before. We've done bannings.
This may be something right in the middle. What if they write back and just say, we're not interested?
That would be fine. That would be totally fine. It's completely ignoring us. That is bothering me.
That is the issue. Let's move on from special drinks because that's a bit of a sore spot for you given the current climate we're in with Cove Soda. We have a story that we've been following for seems like an eternity now. One of the more bizarre stories we've ever dug into, but the twists and turns in this, oh man, I can't look away, and it hasn't stopped. Of course, I'm talking about the Taco Bell that has laid siege to Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. You want to hear the latest?
Oh God, I need the latest. This. I mean, I joked about it when we first broke this story in 2026. I called it the story of the year as a joke because it was the first story we were talking about, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
But now it is shaping up to be the actual story of the year. So that's what I love the most about this.
It's really ramping up, and it's getting big. Let me tell you about the Taco Bell files. Over the past several episodes, we've been covering the complicated Mount Pearl, Newfoundland Taco Bell situation. As anyone who listens to Keep Canada Weird will know, the Taco Bell location at the heart of this story opened in late December. And with it came a steady stream of Newfoundlanders hell-bent on sampling some mediocre tacos. The drive-through lineup turned the busy streets into parking lots, and despite the passage of over a month, the demand continues to exceed the patience of nearby residents. Previously, we heard from one such resident, a Mr. Rod Thompson, who was taking the city to court, and they had a hearing scheduled for February 3rd, which ironically fell on a Tuesday. But for reasons we're now only learning, the Taco Tuesday courtroom showdown didn't occur. The reason, it turns out, is that Rod Thompson came into possession of a goldmine of internal city communications on the Taco Bell issue. The 700-plus page Taco Bell files landed in his hands just days before the Taco Tuesday hearing, prompting him to request an adjournment so that the documents could be fully reviewed and entered into evidence. The case is still very much active and now on pause while he digs through this massive document dump. And sources say it's already bearing fruit. The records suggest that city staffers internally have been treating the Taco Bell lineup as a safety issue that shouldn't be allowed, while publicly framing the situation simply as a perceived risk that's being monitored. For now, the court fight is on hold, but the lineups remain, and once the Taco Bell files are fully reviewed, the Taco Tuesday showdown may very well return. Was that a dramatic reading?
It was very dramatic. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time.
He tells the city, do something about the lineups or I'm taking you to court. They did nothing. He takes them to court. They had this February 3rd court date. Radio silence, no updates on February 3rd, and we wanted to know why. It turns out at the last minute, it seems like he got like a Freedom of Information Act response that gave him all this new information about what the city was saying internally about this issue, and now he's ready to blow the roof off this thing, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting now because these secret files, and we haven't seen what's in the files yet, have we?
The Taco Bell files? No, they haven't released the Taco Bell files.
No, they haven't. Yeah, and we're kind of hoping that that Rod will do that. Will grace us with maybe a few details here and there, just so we can wrap our minds around the situation more. But obviously, he knows things that we don't know, and that's why everything is on pause right now. We have to wait for his team to go through the documents and decipher what needs to be figured out. And the fact that this has been going, people are still lining up for Taco Bell a month into this thing. How is it possible? Like, normally you'll see, maybe 2 weeks of chaos and then it starts to die down. But this has not died down. It is continuing to be long lines that are just really making me scratch my head on this one. Because how can it be possible that the town has become this fixated? Is it because of all the hype and that's adding to the cravings that people and adding to the desire that people in this area need to have Taco Bell over and over and over again now because it's still being talked about? So it's like the hype is feeding the lineups and the lineups are feeding the hype.
I've heard of like nightclubs making people line up outside just so it seems like it's an attractive place to go. And, if there is a lineup, people are more prone to just jump in the lineup and wait. It could be something like that, but I don't know. Like to me, this seems like the plot of a Simpsons episode. Honestly, it's that ridiculous, and there's no end in sight. But whatever Rod Thompson and the neighbors get out of these Taco Bell files, I hope is enough to once and for all put an end to this, because I don't want to be on the Taco Bell in Newfoundland beat for the rest of my life. But we've committed to follow the story through to a conclusion.
Yeah, because if I was living there and it was happening to me, I'd be like, I just have to tough this out for maybe 2 weeks. It's going to die down. It's going to be fine. I'm not going to get that angry and upset over it. But 4 weeks in, yeah. And I'd be tenting outside of the courthouse, just completely let me in. I need to solve this now.
Well, we'll see what comes of this. We'll continue to follow along. Let's put it away. Let's take our first break. And when we get back, we're going to get into our first duo of stories. And the Taco Bell in Newfoundland story is going to be a perfect segue into them, because we're going to hear a crazy story about food. And my favorite story of the night is going to take us back to Newfoundland. We'll get into that after this short break. A Los Angeles pizzeria famous for delivering a massive 54 by 54 inch pizza has officially arrived in Canada, in Vancouver to be exact. The pizza is so big that it's transported in a modified vehicle and has a starting price of $350. Here's the story of the world's largest deliverable pizza, which is now available in Vancouver.
The home of the world's largest deliverable pizza has made its way to Vancouver. Big Mama and Papa's Pizzeria was started in LA back in 1997 and recently opened its doors on Arbutus near West 10th. The businesses are known for their specialty pizza that's built to feed a small crowd. The giant Sicilian is a 54-inch by 54-inch pizza and is cut up into 200 pieces.
It's a big process with this pizza. Basically, we start with the 30 pound of the dough, and then we need about 15 pounds of cheese and 5 pounds of sauce. and give and take what toppings you like, so the weight goes on. We have a car specially designed for it. It has a rooftop carrier. That's a heated rooftop carrier. We have a hot case bag inside, so we can deliver it within like 1 hour.
Smell good. I can smell that. The cost for the giant Sicilian starts at $350 and goes up with each extra topping. Singh says they also have a pizza eating challenge at the location. If 8 people can finish the gigantic pie in under 2 hours, the prize is $1,000 each.
If you thought the Taco Bell lineups in Newfoundland were ridiculous, the 54 by 54 inch pizza, over $350, weighing about 50 pounds and getting transported in a modified vehicle, to me, is absolutely ridiculous and unnecessary.
Well, my favorite part of that whole story is, and sometimes the story is, for me, is more the delivery of the story as opposed to the story itself.
Yeah.
So my favorite part of that news clip is when, you know, they're going back and forth between like interviews with the people who work at the pizza shop and the news anchors, and then just before they go back to the news anchor, about halfway through, she's just coming back and she doesn't specify what she's referring to. We know what she's referring to, but it's just the way it comes back, and she goes, I can smell that. So she doesn't say, I can smell that pizza. She goes,
I can smell that. The cost for the giant Sicilian starts.
Yeah, I like to think that it was like a hot mic moment. She didn't realize she was back live.
yeah, like somebody farted, like the anchor next to her farted, and then she didn't realize they were live. She's like, oh, I can smell that. Anyway, the 54 by 54 inch pizza can be delivered within 1 hour.
200 and something pieces. I don't get the idea, the point of that, other than it just being a gimmick that maybe would make an interesting talking point at a party or something like that. But it would be so much more convenient to just order like 8 large pizzas or something.
Yeah, but it's the fun of it. It's the marketing aspect of it. The novelty. Yeah, obviously it's a great way to promote your business. And if the pizza's good, people will keep coming back. But you know, to have an event and say that you have the world's largest deliverable pizza is a really exciting thing, and guests at your event will think that's fantastic.
It's going to be hard to even find somewhere to put it. Like the cardboard box this thing is in is over 54 inches by 54 inches. A lot of people wouldn't even have a table that would fit on. Like that would be wider than the average dining table.
I could see it more being for special events, like at a business, like a convention or a wedding. It would be really great at a wedding.
Have you ever been to a wedding that served pizza?
Yeah, I have actually. At the end of the night, long after everybody has had supper, this is like, 11 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden I remember being at this wedding, and it was a very lovely wedding. It wasn't just like in a crappy hall somewhere or something. Like this was a fancy wedding and all the bells and whistles. And then all of a sudden I was somewhat inebriated and at this reception. And I remember sitting at my table having a drink, and all of a sudden I could smell pizza. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I smell
Turn
pizza.
the music down.
Yeah. And then someone was like, yeah, no, they pre-ordered pizza to come at, halfway through the reception so that people would have pizza to eat while they're drinking.
I like it.
And I thought it was great. And I've heard of it happening quite often.
Okay. What about the $1,000 challenge that they mentioned in this clip? I can't remember the number, but what was it, like a group of 8 or 12 people?
8 people.
Eight
yeah,
people.
If they can finish it, what was it, within an hour?
Yeah,
I think?
they give you $1,000. It should just be if you finish it, you eat free, because that would encourage people to go in and buy it and stuff. Giving the $1,000 seems unnecessary.
I think it's the right motivation, because just eating free there, I mean, maybe eating free there for a year could motivate me to do that, but you are putting your body through quite a torturous, extreme event.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's going to be, oh my God, I'm going to eat a ton of pizza and win $1,000. But no, you're going to go through hell on earth. Halfway through, you're going to wish that you were dead.
Speaking of hell on earth and wishing you're dead, one thing that can make you really suffer is having your name in the news due to a connection to some negative thing, perhaps a crime or a horrific event, and your face is on the front page of the paper with the headline, "Man Kicks Dog," this sort of thing. If something like that happened to you, you probably want to get in front of it and clear your name. And that's the segue to this next story that is going to take us back to the home of the Taco Bell lineups. We're going back to Newfoundland. There's an interesting story playing out there that we got to get into, and I love this one. You may hear it in my voice. I'm excited even introducing this one. Late last week, the RCMP issued a press release announcing the arrest of a Grand Falls man on a series of firearms-related charges. In short, they said they responded to reports of a man carrying what appeared to be a firearm during the early morning hours of February 5th. In their investigation, they seized a long-barreled pellet rifle and arrested a 65-year-old man named Terry Maloney on charges of careless use of a firearm, pointing a firearm, and possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose. But here's where things get interesting. Terry Maloney and his army of supporters went onto the local news in an attempt to clear his name. Here's the story of the Newfoundlander facing firearms charges who wants to clear his name.
Poplar Road in Grand Falls, Windsor is normally a quiet neighborhood. But early Thursday morning, Terry Maloney says he spotted some suspicious activity.
But I saw somebody over around the garages and the sheds, and I figured they were going to break in. So I walked over with the flashlight. They all hid away and they took off. So second time, they all hid away and took off. Third time, I took the pellet gun. I stood there on the step. I stood there on the road.
A neighbor who didn't realize the man with the gun was Terry called the police and he was arrested. He's now facing criminal charges.
And they came out like a SWAT team. And they arrested me, told me to lie. I never did that.
Well, they should never put his name on the news. I don't think so. That's ridiculous.
People here who have known him their entire lives are furious his name has been made public while the alleged thieves got away.
Terry keeps an eye out for us in the neighborhood. All the neighbors in this neighborhood. We're old school. We keep an eye out for each other. And that's the biggest thing. But what come out of it is ridiculous. Terry is good as gold. He's got a heart of gold. Everybody that knows him knows him to be the person that he is. Sometimes he's a hard case, but you know what? He looks after everybody.
I never had any pellets in my pocket. The gun, I don't know if the gun works. I suppose it does. And they treated me like criminals. So they put me up, they locked me up in jail. And
Terry and his name should have never been on the news, as far as I'm concerned. They picks up, if they catch the person that's trying to break in. He saw someone in my garden trying to break into my car and my garage, and I can't blame him one bit for coming and trying to help us out.
The police aren't able to confirm any details of the incident while the investigation is ongoing. But they say they have to treat all firearms as though they are real and loaded until proven otherwise. They add, in an emergency, it's critical people call 911 immediately for their own safety and the integrity of the investigation.
I'm just shocked that the police don't want Terry running around in the early morning hours with a pellet gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't see anything wrong with it, really.
Do you like those accents?
Yeah, they're nice and thick and juicy. Yeah, really like it. I like how he told us that he basically resisted arrest as well. They told me to lie down. I'm not doing that.
And they came out like a SWAT team. They arrested me, told me to lie down. I never did that.
No, because they're police officers. You probably should. You do have a weapon as well.
Yeah, and it was his supporter was great too. That's ridiculous. They put I loved her.
Yeah,
like they shouldn't have put his name on the news. Everything about this is an amazing story. I could just watch that clip over and over again.
Yeah. This man is above the law, and that's fine.
He should be. He's Newfoundland's Dirty Harry. He doesn't have a badge. He doesn't need one.
No, he's the unofficial mayor of Newfoundland.
premier?
No, mayor. His position is of the whole thing.
Province.
Yeah. He's making it one big town, and we don't need a bunch of towns. We just have one town.
I also liked his supporter there, the woman who thought it was ridiculous that his name was on the news. She did pledge quite a bit of support for Terry, but she did pull back at the very end. She said he had a heart of gold. He looks after us. We're old school and take care of each other, and that's what Terry does for us. But then she did say,
but sometimes he's kind of a hard case.
He's a hard case. And what does that mean, I wonder? Like, well, I think Terry maybe...
A hard case. I think a hard case would be someone who is extremely difficult to deal with and is very unreasonable.
Does this guy strike you as a hard case at times?
Oh, yeah. Well, he wouldn't lie down.
Oh, man. Why don't they just send Terry to clean up the Taco Bell situation?
Oh, even Terry can't do that.
No, imagine his house was on that
There's
street.
not a pellet gun big enough to handle the Taco Bell Newfoundland problem.
Oh, man. Whenever we go to Newfoundland, it's always a great story. There's the Taco Bell story. We now have the mayor of Newfoundland, Terry, and his pellet gun. We had the Amelia Earhart statue. There's the stories that come from there.
Oh, they're gold.
Always
yeah,
good.
they're gold. Yeah.
I need to get this laugh out of my system. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we have, I guess it's a WTF story. It's one of the most violent stories we've ever gotten into on Keep Canada Weird. And it pulls us straight into the middle of the animal uprising after a short break. Hey, on Samaritan Airport, things are about to get nuts. We're going to dive into a story set in the animal uprising. For people new to the show, do you want to just give them the elevator pitch of what we're doing in terms of our coverage and expose of the animal uprising?
So over the 200 and now 1 episodes that we've done of this podcast, we started to notice over time that there were a lot of stories about animals attacking things and people. And we started to notice that the frequency of these events to be increasing over time, and to a point where it had to be labeled and studied. So we called it the animal uprising, where the animals are retaking the earth entirely for their own, with intentions of either eliminating or enslaving or both the human race.
Exactly. Well said. It's something we've been working hard on, and the next story is going to, I think, show a lot of people how real it is, how desperate it can be, and how violent it can get. A Saskatchewan family came face to face with a starving and aggressive moose outside of their home. What happened next was a desperate and violent fight to get out of it alive. This story of a man who fought a moose is not for the squeamish, so listener warning ahead of this. Here's the story of a man who literally got in a life and death fight with a moose.
Sean Tufnell says he was forced into a deadly confrontation with a moose in order to save his mother. It was a cold morning in Beanfate, just east of Estevan. With wind chill, it felt below -40. Angie Tufnell went to start her car and startled a moose huddled against the house under the warmth of a dryer vent.
What I seen was a moose standing over top of her. And then I yelled at it a couple times and it just pinned its ears back and faced me. So my first instinct that I didn't think too well on, I walked out and punched it right in the face.
The moose turned on Sean, who then swatted it with a shovel 3 times. But that didn't stop the moose. Sean fell back into the house and the moose followed him in halfway in the door. That's when Sean wrestled it into a headlock.
So I started yelling for my mom's boyfriend. He was sleeping at the time. Yelling at him to wake up and get the gun and everything. And when he come down the stairs, just a couple steps into the porch, he looked over and the moose was right in the doorway. And I had my arm over its head by the ear and it was trying to bite me, but I had its jawbone against my stomach. So it couldn't really bite me and it couldn't really hit me with its feet because I was so close.
Sean started firing at the moose. It backed off his mother, but wasn't done.
So I had first shot in the eye, and then he backed up a little bit, and he was kind of not doing much. And then I had to go outside, and then I shot him in the other eye a few more times. And
Sean figures he shot the moose 15 times. The Canadian Wildlife Cooperative did a post-mortem exam and found the moose was starving and in rough shape. A University of Saskatchewan researcher says moose encounters can be extremely dangerous, and people should do everything they can to avoid them. But that's getting harder every year.
Every part of the southern half of Saskatchewan is now moose habitat. That certainly wasn't the case 50 years ago.
As for the Tufnells, Angie is recovering from a deep leg wound where the moose stepped on her calf. Sean escaped with a cracked rib, a large goose egg on his head, and no regrets over how he saved his mom.
In listening to that story again, I think my opinion on it has maybe changed since I began preparation for this episode, because I don't think they got across really what the moose did to deserve the first punch in the face that this guy threw.
Well, didn't he already have the moose already had his mother pinned down at that point?
Well, that makes more sense. So he went out when his mom was already entangled with the moose, because it seems like what happened is the mom, oh yes, it's making more sense now. The mom was outside getting in the car or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, the moose was actually up against the house near the dryer vent, probably because of the warm air coming out. And the moose got startled as she was getting in the car, and then the moose went towards her. He comes out of the house to save his mother, throws the punch to get the moose off of his mother, which leads to like a wrestling match in the doorway with a moose that must weigh 1 million pounds. These things are huge. I'm surprised this guy managed to hold his own. But the next part, where it goes when the gun gets in the picture,
yeah,
it's disturbing, but it almost doesn't seem real. Why was he just shooting it in the eyes the whole time?
It just was probably the only shot they had was towards the face. I mean, we weren't there at the scene to see what exact position the moose was in when the gun came into play. I'll say this though, and here's where I come down on this story.
Okay.
We don't know what happened before he came out to find his mother entangled with this moose. So I think she goes out to the car. Something happens between when she goes out to the car and when the moose is aggressive with her and pins her down, whatever the situation was. So she did something to that moose to make it upset at her. I don't know what she said or did, but
you don't think maybe she just startled the moose? Like the moose is feeling crappy. It's hungry. It's all screwed up, and it's leaning against the house to get warmth from the dryer vent. I think she maybe just slammed the door a little hard, and he's like, "What the?"
I'm leaning towards she deserved it.
Okay, that's what you.
That's where I'm leaning, because this is how I usually come down on man versus animal.
Okay.
I usually side with the animal first until proven guilty.
Okay.
So in my mind, and how I'd like to see this story, is that the human, the mother, instigated the argument and then physical altercation with the moose. The moose then, upset, attacks the woman, defends itself. I like to think. Then this guy comes out and sees his mother pinned down by the moose, not realizing that his mother started the whole incident completely. And then he intervenes. He starts getting physical with the moose, and the fight moves halfway indoors. The gun comes into play.
Jeez.
And I find this to be a sad story. This moose was starving. It was cold. It was just really going through it. And then to have this be the way that it went out, it's just too bad that this moose couldn't find a situation where it had food, it had some shelter, some warmth, that it could be safe and okay, and maybe this whole thing would never have happened this way. But I feel bad for the moose. I really do. I feel sorry that it had to go through this situation. Ultimately, I understand why the humans did what they did. They had no choice. The moose was being aggressive, but animals are animals, and animals can be aggressive. So
Yeah, Saskatchewan's a big province, though, and you would think they'd be able to live if in any province in Canada, moose and men are able to live in harmony. You would think it'd be somewhere like Saskatchewan, but based on that clip, there was a little moment there where they had an expert on who said like the moose habitat is so broad that there's hardly anywhere you can go in Saskatchewan without encountering moose. That's not something we encounter here in Nova Scotia. I see deer all the time, but there's a huge difference between an adorable deer and a giant moose. They're pretty terrifying. I've only seen a few of them up close.
They're so big. The only one I've ever seen like up close was at the Two Rivers Wildlife Park here in Cape Breton.
Could you imagine throwing a punch at one?
Well, I don't know if punching would be the route that I would take at the top.
But yeah,
I would look for a weapon right away, like what's near me, a rock, a piece of metal, anything that I would, because if I were to go in punching with how big moose are, I would assume that the punch would just make it mad and it wouldn't do anything it would just make the situation worse. I would want a weapon right away, whatever I could find near me that could do some damage right off the top to make a difference, to protect my mother. Of course, I would do the same thing that this guy did if my mother was pinned down by a moose. But I would like to see the security footage of leading up to the altercation. What did the mother do?
Yeah, do they not have a Ring video doorbell? Because this would be amazing video doorbell footage. Let's stick in this topic a little bit. Let's further explore the complicated relationship man has with beast. Just last week, we told the story of the dog in Vancouver that overdosed on cocaine, and we talked a little bit about what may have happened and what led to that. And you posited the idea that the owner of the dog may have a part to play in the dog getting access to cocaine. And we kind of laughed at that idea a little bit. But there's actually a listener named Kayleen out there, a correspondent named Kayleen, who serves us as our Keep Canada Weird vet tech. And she had a little bit to say about dogs ingesting drugs with their owner's involvement that maybe supports a few of the things you said in episode 200. Let's listen to the Keep Canada Weird vet tech, Kayleen.
Hey, Jordan, Aaron, this is Kayleen from Ottawa. Just wanted to comment on the dog who ate the cocaine off of the street in Vancouver. I'm a vet tech, and when I used to work in clinic and even in pet insurance, you'd see a lot of cases of toxicity. And 9 times out of 10, the owners will tell a story about how the dog just ate marijuana off the street. And most of the time they are lying because they are embarrassed that the pet ate the marijuana from their stash. And it's just really funny because we do not care that you have weed in the home. We just want to treat your pet. And my favorite story was actually of a owner who checked into a hotel room and their dog ate marijuana, but she insisted that she did not bring it. Apparently, the previous person who checked into the room just left their weed in the room and the cleaning staff didn't catch it. So a lot of times the owners are lying, but not to say that it doesn't actually happen, that the pet is too quick and will just eat whatever off the ground. But just wanted to offer a veterinary perspective. Thanks, guys.
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how the dog ate so many dirty magazines. We were just walking on the street and he just ate a bunch of dirty magazines.
Oh, yeah.
So fast.
And it's not often that a professional in a certain field will call in and prove me right on one of my theories that I have, because usually my theories come out of left field and they go back to left field when they're done and when they're spoken. But I mean, this was finally a time where I'm going to say officially that I was proven right.
by an expert. Yeah, but they say it is rare that it happens, but there is a saying, a broken clock
is right twice a day.
And that, I guess that's the case. Usually what happens if a professional in any field is listening and our topics bring us into their field, they usually stop listening from then on. And I think we just got lucky that you called it right. So thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no problem. Maybe I'll do it again 200 episodes later.
That's right. Let's transition to another correspondent message. This is also something we spoke about last week. Yes, at Keep Canada Weird, we've been on the animal uprising beat, but we've also been following the very complicated and disturbing puberty problem, which is something we've identified many episodes ago, which is that people on the cusp of or in the midst of puberty are wreaking havoc and making the world worse for all of us. Last week, we heard the story of a bus driver who just had enough of the puberty problem and pulled the bus over and got off and left all the kids there. And you and I kind of expressed some, I guess, support for what he did. And we told our own stories of bus rides of our past. We have a listener. Bruin is our correspondent no, he's not a correspondent. He's more of a
no, he is a informant.
He's a puberty problem informant.
Yeah. Now the puberty problem might call him a narc
if they knew.
We call him if they knew, but we call him an informant.
Okay, here he is.
Hi, it's Bruin here. I would just like to talk about the puberty problem with Aaron. So, if we are so bad and we're the one that's doing all this bad stuff on the dirt bikes and stuff through the neighborhoods, and now about the bus, let's talk about what you guys were doing back then. If you really think that we are the puberty problem, maybe you should rethink it. Maybe you guys are the puberty problem. Maybe you've been the puberty problem this whole time. I think this is ridiculous that you think that we are committing the puberty problem when you lit a piece of paper on fire in the back of a bus. Also, great job on the 200 episodes. See you later. Bruin out.
Wow. Always informative to get a glimpse behind the curtain. And it's very rare that someone in our position over the age of 19 gets to see like how that mind thinks.
Right. Now, Bruin, for being our informant who we employ through Keep Canada Weird, very aggressive. And that is, again, because of the puberty problem. But
when you're working with informants and confidential sources and stuff, those relationships are very precarious. And I think with Bruin, it's like if we talk about this the wrong way, he's done.
That's right. So we do have to walk a very fine line with Bruin to make sure that he stays on, because he's our only informant into the puberty problem. But the answer to some of Bruin's questions here was maybe we are the puberty problems. Like we were the puberty problem, but then we were cured with age.
And time. That's right.
Time. So now we no longer are infected with the puberty problem. So then once you're not infected by the puberty problem, you then have to deal with the puberty problem. And in order to do that, we must understand it first. And when you have the puberty problem, when you're infected, your mind is too clouded to be able to understand what is going on with yourself and the others around you who are also infected. It's very much like 28 days later, and then 28 weeks, 28 months later, and Bone Temple that just came out.
Okay.
The infected, they're not called zombies in the 28 days later franchise. They're infected because they're infected with the rage virus. And when you are infected, you can't think clearly. There's no rational thoughts going on. It's just rage and anger and violence. So that's kind of like what the puberty problem is.
Except instead of like rage and violence, it's more like disobedience and noise and like messy, smelly kind of behavior.
Yeah, it's mostly stink. Yeah. But I would like to also rebut something that Bruin said and accused me directly of, as if I was the one that lit the fire on the back of the bus in the story that I was telling about my bus story last week. So it was not me personally that lit the piece of paper on fire that got us driven to the police station. It was one of my infected cohorts that did it. I didn't. I was.
Did you support it though and encourage it? Maybe.
I giggled and I said, "Oh, that's up a notch."
We got to start wrapping this up. Only two other things I want to bring up. This episode is going to be released to the masses on Friday the 13th. I just want to mention that. I always find it special because my favorite movie series growing up, of course, was Friday the 13th. I actually have a Jason mug straight in front of me. I have a Friday the 13th hat, but I'm not wearing it. And I have a Jason action figure over my left shoulder. So that's like an important day to me. So I just want to recognize that for everyone out there who celebrates. My best to all the camp counselors. And the day after this episode comes out will be Valentine's Day, February the 14th. Is there anything we should say about Valentine's other than men out there, don't blow it, get some flowers and do something nice. Don't, screw it up.
But also don't tell them what to do, Jordan.
I'm just reminding them. They may forget.
That sounded more like you were barking an order at them, like, get some flowers, get on with it.
You prick.
That's your favorite. That's your favorite swear. It's the only swear you'll do on the show.
I like prick, but I'll tell you, I also like pullers. And that's like a Cape Breton thing, I think, to call someone a puller. Do you like that?
I've never heard the term puller.
Really?
Before.
Maybe it's a Sydney thing because we're from different parts of Cape Breton, but we would often
my address
call people.
Now, see, I went to school in Glace Bay, but my technical address was Sydney.
And you didn't call people pullers?
No, I'd never heard of it before. No one's ever called me a puller. What is a puller?
I think it's like kind of a riff on like they're like masturbators. Like you're just like this guy's such a puller.
Oh,
but we'll stick with prick. I like prick is a good way to do it. But all this to say, there's someone out there right now with their headphones on, listening to Keep Canada Weird, doing God knows what, and we brought up Valentine's Day, and they just thought to themselves like, "Oh shit!" And they're turning the car around right now, going to the grocery store to grab some flowers, and we just saved their night.
Yeah, well,
so whoever you are, you're welcome.
You just said the S word as well. And I certainly hope that our puberty problem informant and correspondent Bruin is not listening to the very end of this episode because, my God, that's the kind of language that he doesn't expect to hear on this show.
Yeah.
And he'll probably be very disappointed and get in trouble for even listening to.
He'll be grounded for 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Bruin gets that.
Are you listening to those Canadian podcasters again?
In the spirit of Valentine's Day, we didn't have one tonight, but if anyone wants to submit a dating profile, that would be something nice for episode 202. But what else would be nice is if you, the correspondents of Keep Canada Weird, could join us for a special drink. If you're at the grocery store, if you're at the drugstore, if you're at the gas station, and you see an interesting drink on the shelf, give yourself a little treat. Buy a special drink, turn on your recorder, or go to thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Tell us what you got, crack it open, take a sip, and let us know what you thought. And you can join us for our Keep Canada Weird special drink segment, TM, in one of the next episodes.
Great.
Handsome Aaron Airport, until next time.
Jordan, Bus Stop, Backhoe, Bonaparte, until next time.
Please continue to advocate for the release of the Taco Bell files. I think this is something everybody following this story needs to see. We want to know what's going on, and we want to support Rod Thompson and the other affected residents on Commonwealth Avenue, I think, which is ground zero for the Taco Bell saga.
And Jordan, until next time, correspondents, please email Cove Soda and demand that they respond to our requests to at least have them acknowledge our existence. They don't have to give us pop. They don't have to give us money. They just have to acknowledge that we even exist.
And respond.
And if this doesn't happen within the next few weeks, I'm bringing back banning, and I'm banning Cove Soda.
I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. Now, if any one of you listening want to get more involved in what we're doing, we need all the correspondence we can get. So if something weird happens in your area, or if you have any thoughts on anything we discussed tonight, let us know about it. The best way to reach us is by using the voice recorder that can be found at thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Now, I'm going to start wrapping up the episode, but before we part, let us thank a few people. First of all, Aaron and I want to give a big thank you to all the correspondents who contributed to this episode. If your voice message was aired on the show, go back to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and fill out the form to claim your swag pack and Keep Canada Weird badge. We'll happily get it right out to you. Next, a big shout out to Unicole for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data, who provides the outro version of O Canada that you're about to hear. And then lastly, but most importantly, we have a massive thank you to every one of you listening, as without your interest and your support, this work would be impossible. And for any one of you out there who want to support the show financially and get more out of the show at the same time, please consider the premium feed. A premium feed subscription costs just a couple bucks a month, and that money will fund the creation of new episodes. But the premium feed will also give you those episodes early, give them to you ad-free, and give you access to a full back catalog of Keep Canada Weird episodes and bonuses. You can go premium at thecanadiangothic.com/subscribe. And even if the premium feed isn't for you, you can still support the show by simply sharing episodes on social media. That's free, and it's a big help. So until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and please keep Canada weird.
And keep Canada weird. Please keep Canada weird.